So Brahma is the creator, and there is a dialogue going on between two sages, Maitreya and Vidura. And
Thank you.
Maitreya was a great sage and scholar, and Vidura approached him, who was also a very scholarly person, but approached him as a student and asked questions to him. So Maitreya is responding.
Okay.
And during the response, there was talk about creation. And when he explained, and there was a whole story. Now, some of these stories, they sound very fantastic, but they have a lot of philosophical and also historical truth in that.
I see.
So that the earth had fallen down. You never hear of earth falling down. You hear things falling down on earth, but the whole earth falling down into the ocean. So earth has fallen down into the ocean. There is an ocean below the universe.
Okay.
And then Lord appeared and uplifted the earth. And when he appeared, then one demon came and he was obstructing it, and there was a fight. And then this demon was killed. So the question was asked that how suddenly this demon came into existence, from where he came.
Okay.
So then he tells another story. That is another interesting thing of these stories, that they are intertwined. Inside one story there is another story, and then another story. So very interesting plot, and you have to hear very carefully. So then he is telling that Brahma had 10 sons. In the beginning he created sons only from thinking. Like these days you hear this philosophy very much, that thoughts are objects. You heard this statement?
No.
No? You heard?
Objects of
Thoughts are objects.
Thoughts are objects. That thoughts can turn into objects. Or you heard this book of secrets. There is a very popular book which is called the Book of the Secrets. And it propounds this idea that how thoughts can turn into objects, or how yogis by meditation they can actually manifest things just by thinking. So Brahma, he was creating only by his meditation, but that way he could not produce many. The whole world was empty. So then he created a male and a female from his body, whose name his name was Manu, the man, and the wife was Shatrupa. And the word man in English comes from the Sanskrit word Manu. From Manu actually comes the word man. And then he ordered them to create. And then when he asked them to create, he says, but where do I live? And that's when he said that earth is in the ocean. So then Lord came and uplifted it. And now he's telling another story, that from where the demon came. So he's saying that there was one of the son of Brahma, whose name was Marichi, and he had a son whose name was Kashyap, and his wife's name was Diti. And this Kashyap had 13 wives, and they were all sisters, married to him. And 12 had children, and one did not have yet. So she approached him to have sons. So that is the story we read in the previous class, yesterday's class.
Okay.
That she approached him, and he just says, and in India there was a custom of doing fire sacrifice every morning and evening. So he had just finished doing his sacrifice in the evening time, and he was sitting and meditating. And then his wife approached him that he wants to mate with him to get pregnant. So the sage knew that this is a wrong time, because depending on at what time the child is conceived, the character of the child will have a different character. There are certain times which are suitable for conception, and certain times are not suitable for conception. So this is one of the ideas which is conveyed through the story. One is just to tell that one should not conceive in the evening time, and that is to make a story or tell a story and to show how there is a wrong result from this. So we read this, that she approached him for conception, and she said that I am very much disturbed by lust, by Cupid. And she was saying that as if Cupid, because in Vedic mythology Cupid is a person and he has arrows, and if he shoots these arrows at somebody means he is completely under the control of lust. He becomes mad for sex life, cannot control it. And these arrows are made from flowers. There are 5 arrows he has, which of course are related to the 5 senses, which signifies that sex is a thing which captivates the mind of a person completely. When you eat food, then you are captivated by the taste. When you hear music, it's only hearing. You don't taste music. If you eat, you don't hear music from the food. So it is only one sense which is engaged, or sometimes more than one. But this sexual union engages all the senses. The sense of touch is involved, sense of taste is also involved by kissing and hearing the sound and seeing and smelling. So this is supposed to be the most captivating activity, and that's why it is most difficult to control it. So this is the meaning of these arrows. 5 arrows for the 5 senses. So now she was speaking. So in this verse she said that I am completely overpowered by Cupid, and this Cupid is smashing me just like an elephant would smash a banana plant. In India we have elephants, and elephants, if you leave them in a banana garden, they'll smash everything. They love it.
Just like little kids.
Yes. So this Cupid actually has an army. When he wants to attack somebody, he has his own army, because he has arrows, means he fights with the person, and women are supposed to be the army men, army women. He has army of women because through women only he controls. So in the commentary we read that how is it that she was attacked, because Cupid usually attacks men. So why he was attacking the woman? So it was described that he was attacking the woman to attack the sage, with whom he could not fight, because sage was in complete control of his senses and he would not be deviated by him. But if wife approaches, then he has to listen to the wife. If you don't listen to the wife, then there is a trouble in the family. And she can leave. And what will you do? So this was the trick of the Cupid. So we also read a commentary on this. It says, Esha mamiti mudrit netre patyau kaikas chakshusascha abhiyoga kinchit karaiva. Says that why she was speaking, because Kashyap Rishi, the sage, he was sitting and he was meditating. So obviously his eyes are closed. And if eyes are closed, and usually a woman comes to a man and she tries to captivate him by the movement of the eyes or bodily movements. But in this case it is not possible because he is meditating with closed eyes. So she has to speak. Because even when your eyes are closed, your ears, and in those days they did not have earplugs. Otherwise you would have done that. So his ears were open. So Vachikeshu api madhye shabdotha arthotasya vyangya. So when you speak in Sanskrit, there is a beauty that you can speak directly, you can make a statement, you can also speak indirectly. We do this in every language. Sometimes You praise somebody when your meaning is actually to criticize that person. If someone is not singing nicely, you say, oh, you are singing just like Britney Spears. So you know that the guy cannot sing or the lady cannot sing like her. Just the way to tell that your singing is horrible. But instead of saying directly like this, you say indirectly. So in India, traditional women don't make a direct statement to the husband if they want to have union. They speak indirectly. It is not considered as cultured that a woman requests to the husband directly. And actually women are like that usually. So they make indirect statements. So that's what he is saying, because the commentators actually go into the words of the verses and they try to speak. He says, Vachkesu api madhye Shabdotha arthotha savanga, that even when she has to speak, she should speak indirectly, not make a direct request. And the indirect spoken is in two ways. One is that your words are indirect. Other is that the meaning is indirect. So that is called implied meaning, Vyanjana Vritti. But she was not doing that. He says, Parmeshwara abhiniveshit buddhau kasyapo na avakasa labte. He says, but here the problem is that Kashyapa Muni, the sage, he was meditating on God and being fixed on thoughts of God. There is no possibility that he is now going to use his mind to understand the indirect statements. Better request directly, then it may have some influence on him. If you make indirect statements, he is not going to understand, because indirect statements you also have to hear and think and then understand what the person actually wants. So therefore he says that Uttamangana nam abhidaya purushe sambhog prarthana yadyapi naivam swabhava. He says that high class ladies do not make a direct request for sexual union. He says it is considered as inappropriate for high class women. So it is not their nature to do that. Yet Kandarpa Pidayo Unmadita Ditir Lajja Sanke Niglantiva Samadhi Bhangartham Uchaira. But in this particular case, because we read that Diti was absolutely tormented by Cupid. And when Cupid is so overpowering, then it was as if Diti's shyness was completely swallowed. That she has lost shyness, and if someone is not shy, then you speak directly. Like prostitutes are not shy, so they are not going to use the high class words or indirect statements. So she was speaking now as if she is completely like a prostitute basically. So therefore, to disturb the samadhi or meditation of the husband, she spoke loudly and directly. That's what this verse says. Esa mam tvatkrite vidwan kama attarasana dunoti dinam vikramya vrambhamiva matvam. And this Cupid is tormenting me sakshadiva drishyaman ityartha, as if he is just standing there like a person. Tvatkrite yadi aham ekakinni asthasyam tadesha mama kim akarishyaditi patyo tasminneva doso nyasta. So he says that because he is standing there and he is attacking me, now if I am alone, I don't know what he will do. He will probably kill me with his arrows. Therefore I am coming to take help from you. Because if somebody attacks wife, then she runs to the husband for protection. So she is saying that I am being attacked by the Cupid and I don't want to remain alone, therefore I am coming to you so that you help me. Dinam dunoti iti tvam pati katham mam nirakshasiti bhava. and I am completely helpless and he is torturing me and you are my husband, so why are you not protecting? Because the word pati, which is husband in Sanskrit, also means one who protects. So husband is supposed to give protection to the wife. So he says that now when I am being attacked, why are you not helping me and protecting me? Nanu lajjam katham sahasaiva ahashit tatraham. So now if the husband is asking that how come you have given up all shame, you are speaking so indirectly, which is so inappropriate, because Diti was not an ordinary lady, she is also daughter of Daksha, who was a king. So the husband, as if asking her that why you speak like this is very surprising. So then the verse says Rambham iva matangaja, that this Cupid is destroying me or ready to destroy me like an elephant destroy a banana plant. So the meaning is that yadi prana eva nashyanti tada kim lajjayati bhava. He says if my life is lost, then what shame will do? Shame has a purpose, but if just to maintain your shyness you are sacrificing your life, then such shyness is useless. And you better give up your shyness and get help. So therefore she is saying that I am being so vocal and direct. And then next it says tad bhavan dahiya manayam sapatninam samriddhibhi prajavatinam bhadram te mayyayum tam anugraha. He says that tad bhavan dahiya manayam sapatninam samriddhibhi. Now she speaks one more thing. She says that I have co-wives, because Kashyapa had 13 wives and they all have children. Samriddhivi, Prajavati Nam, means they have children. And it says that I am also burning out of jealousy for them. So this is also one of the common problem of human beings. Besides being disturbed by Cupid, they are also jealous. Jealousy is one very big problem. And these things are being pointed out here because the book is talking about spiritual practice. So when one comes to spiritual life, then one must know the problems of lust, problems of greed, anger, envy, jealousy. These has to be taken care of. Otherwise one cannot make advancement in spiritual life. So by this story, the stories are being told to explain to us that we also have these problems. But if someone tells you directly that you are envious or you are jealous, then you will feel hurt or you may not accept it, because no one likes to think that I am an envious person or I am a jealous person. So therefore these things are depicted through stories of others, which we can take. But idea is to understand and analyze our own heart, whether am I like that also. So she says that, and she is being open about it. She says that tad bhavan dahiya manayam sapatni nam samriddhibhi prajavati nam bhadramte mayyayungtam anugraham. So he says that I have other co-wives which are also her sisters, but now she is not seeing them as sisters. Before they were married, they would have had a lot of affection with each other, but now there is a rivalry once they get married. If two sisters get married to one husband, then they may have love and affection before the marriage, but then they become rivals because they want the attention of the husband. So that's when the nature comes out. Before the marriage, you may not see that these sisters actually have any jealousy for each other. Nobody probably will see it. But there are things lying in our heart like seeds. So there are 6 enemies of lust, greed, anger, pride, jealousy, delusion. And these are in everyone's heart in this material world. But they are not manifest all the time. When the appropriate time comes, then these things become manifest. So now this is becoming manifest in her, and she is speaking very openly to the husband that I am very jealous of my sisters because they have the opulence and they have children and I don't have. So she is saying that it is burning my heart, dahiyamanayam. Jealousy is a burning sensation in the heart. When you see someone going ahead of you, friends, if one friend makes more money than the other, then the one who is making less feels jealousy in the heart. He may not say it, but the feeling is there inside. Every time he sees, he feels this. And if this friends lose money in the business, then the other friend will come to sympathize. That, oh, really, I feel bad that you lost your business. But actually inside, he feels happiness that this rascal lost its goods. This is how the human mind works. Externally, he is giving this sympathetic feeling, but inside, he is feeling a sense of satisfaction. And this is because of jealousy. So jealousy has no place in spiritual life, because why shall we be jealous of others? If someone is progressing, what is wrong with it, and how do I lose? But out of our ignorance and attachment to our own comforts and to our pride, our ego, that I want to be better than others, we put others down. We criticize others, we find fault with others. It is for this reason that we find fault with others when there is no reason to find faults. Fault finding is one of the greatest pleasures in this world. Even people whom we like or we are fan of somebody, when they do something wrong, then we pick on them. So this is because we actually want to be like that. Why people become fan of others? That they want to be like this person who is famous, who is a celebrity, but they cannot be. So then they become fan of this person and they identify with that person. And when that person is making some progress, they feel as if they are making the progress, or they are getting the position or power. But really speaking, down deep there is envy, which is not visible. And one may wonder that how is it possible that this person can be envious? He is such a great fan of this person. So that envy will come out when there is an appropriate time. Till that time it remains hidden like seeds which sprout in the rainy season. So many types of grasses, weeds, plants come out when it rains. Otherwise it may look like a desert in the summertime. So her envy is becoming manifest at present. Says that Mayi Ayuntam Anugraham, says that you have not blessed me, you have not been compassionate on me. Nacha kevalam aham kamatura eva ratim yache kintu putrarthinapi ityaha taditi. So she is saying that don't think that I am requesting you just because I am interested in enjoying union with you, but actually I want to have children. So this is another mentality, that we want to do something, and if that act is not appreciated in the society, then we don't say it directly, we hide it, we cover it up with something else. And then we achieve our object. So she is trying to hide her intention to have union and enjoy by saying that I want to have children because others have children. Ayunktam sarvato bhavena karotu. So she is requesting. And then she says that bhartriyayukta urumananam lokan avisate yashaha patir bhavad vidhoyasam prajayanam jayate. So there is also human psychology depicted here, that when you have to achieve something from someone, then you also praise that person, give importance to that person, then the heart becomes soft. If you want to get a favor from someone, then go and say some nice kind words to that person and then ask, not that you go and ask immediately. So everybody likes to hear one's own praise and nobody likes to hear criticism. Only some rare people like to hear their own criticism. Those are very rare souls. But usually we like to hear some good words about us. And this is the technique used by people to get some favor or even exploit others. So now she's giving importance, and she says that Bhartyapto urumananam lokan avishate yasha. Says that being with the husband and getting favor from the husband, then a wife becomes respected. They are considered honored by the husband, and their fame spreads all over the world. Means if they actually get children from the husband, patir bhavad vidho yasam prajaya nanu jayate. It is said in the Smriti Shastra or even the Puranas, in fact even in the Vedas, that a wife in Sanskrit is called Jaya. Now there are different words for wife in Sanskrit, and one of the words is Jaya. Ja means to take birth and Ya means from whom. So wife is called Jaya because husband takes birth from wife as a son, because son is considered as a representative of the husband, or it is considered as if husband himself has taken birth from his own wife in the form of son, and that's why she is called Jaya. That Jaya bhavati yadasyam jayate punah. So she says that a wife becomes famous when a husband like you takes birth from the wife as son. Patir bhavad vidho yasam prajaya nanu jayate. So that means that you please make me famous by giving me sons. And then that is considered as that I have been honored or respected by the husband. Bhartriyo apta urumana nam lokan avistayasha. So Tvat Prasadad Yasaswani Putravati Cha Bhuyasam Ityah says that you are so great that by your blessings I will become famous. Not only that I will have children, but I will also have fame. Bhartri Bhartu Sakashaditi, having attained the association of the husband and children. Prapt Bahu Sammana Nam Istrinam Yashah Lokan Vyapnoti Prajaya Putrarupena. So, honorable women, their fame spreads in the world in the form of sons. Tajjaya Jaya Bhavati Yadasyam Jayate Punaha iti Srute, because it is said in the Vedas that a wife is called Jaya because husband takes birth from her. Yadva Bhavad Vidha Pati Prajaya Hitunaiva Jayate Bhavati Atoham Prajavati Katham Na Bhavem iti Bhava. Or the meaning is that somebody like you is considered as husband only when you have produced children in the wife. Therefore, why is that I do not have children? Because you are my husband. So after now saying this, and she was realizing that hearing these statements, this sage is not saying anything. He is just sitting very soberly and seriously and hearing and not reacting. So she realized that it's not working. So now she wants to praise more. And she is saying that don't think that I don't love you, but I have great love for you, and it is for this reason that I married you. So she is referring to her past. He says, Purapitano Bhagwan Daksho Duhitri Vatsala Kam Vranita Varam Vatsa Itya Prichatana Prathak Saviditva Atma Prajanamno Bhavam Santan Bhavanaha Trayodashadat Tatasham Yaste Shilam Anubrataha. She said that in the past, our father Daksha, who was very affectionate to his daughters, he asked us separately that whom would you like to marry. So in India it is a custom, it is still a custom that it is now, of course it's changing, but still in the villages the custom is followed that it is not that daughter goes and selects husband, it is parents who select the husband for the daughter. This is arranged marriages. They will find a suitable husband for the daughter and then marry her. But even in the past, as we see from this history, the father asked their choice. Although the marriage was arranged by the father, but he did not just pick up a person and say that you have to marry this person. He asked them separately to each daughter that whom would you like to marry. And Daksha had 50 daughters, not one or two. So out of 50, 13 chose Kashyapa. 13 of them said. So he says, Saviditva Atmajanam no bhavam santan bhavam. And of course, the daughter is very shy to tell the father. So indirectly she conveys the meaning that I would like to marry this person. And says that Trayodasad Dadatasham Yaste Silamanurita, that 13 of us were married to you because we have the same nature as yours. So now what she is trying to say is that don't think that I am just one of your wives, but I actually had crush on you. Otherwise, why did I choose to marry you? It was not that my father just arranged for it and I came as a wife, as happens in many cases. That girl does not even see the person whom she is marrying. Most girls in the villages, they see their husband only at the time of marriage ceremony. They don't meet the husband before. So she is saying that it is not like that in my case. It was my choice. And therefore, when my father asked, I replied that I want to marry you. So in this way, she is putting in the mind of Kashyapa that I have some love for you and don't neglect me like this. She is also using some words. She is calling her father as Bhagwan, which means very powerful person. Which means that don't think that my father is an ordinary person. He is a very powerful person and he married me to you. So now don't betray him, because he is Duhitri Vatsal. He has great love for his daughters. So if you don't treat me properly and don't satisfy me, then I can complain to my father and he can put you in trouble, because he is Bhagavan Daksha. So this is coercing indirectly. This is the indirect statement which I was speaking of before. That one is saying directly and one is indirectly implying that you cannot deny me, you cannot neglect me, because I am the daughter of a very great person. And that person, my father, has great love for me. Because sometimes father may not love daughter gets married and then he does not care. So therefore she is using the word Duhitri Vatsala, who is very, very affectionate towards the daughter. And he is also, another words he has used is Santan Bhavana, that he married, and Daksha is one of the Prajapatis, which means progenitors, which means the person in charge for spreading population in the world. In the beginning, the population was not much, so he was one of the person in charge. His duty was to populate this world. That's why he got 50 daughters, because he was expert in creating progeny. And when he married the daughters to the sages, he is called here as Santana Bhavana. Means Santan means children, and Bhavana means desire. Means he was having this desire that when the daughters get married to the husband, then they will have sons. Because this is his duty. He also produced sons and produced daughter, and he wanted that his sons produce grandsons and daughters also produce grandchildren. So she is saying that now you should also remember this, that my father offered me to you in marriage so that we can have children. And thus you have to give me sons. And yaste Srila Manuvrata. And one may say that actually you are not up to my standard, therefore I will not produce children in you, because then the children will not be of my level. In India, you know that we have this Varnashram system, which is now called caste system. So it was originally there that marriage should be between equals. There is a saying that marriage and friendship should be between equals. And if this is between unequals, then it will cause problem. So she is saying that I also have same nature as yours. Means I am qualified to be your wife. You cannot think that I am not qualified. Sometimes royal people, kings, they used to have many wives. But some were not qualified to have sons who can actually be called as royal. They had just for personal enjoyment. And then there were principal queens and their children were the successors for the king. So one should not think that just because Kashyap has 13 wives, then some are prominent wives and they are fit to have children who can be successor for Kashyapa. And then Diti is not like that, and therefore there is no need for him to give her children. So therefore she is indicating that such is not the case. Kincha vivahat purvam eva aham tvai anuragni iti pratyakhe vakya ne bhavitum arhami piya. So she is speaking this statement, which means that before marriage I was already in love with you, therefore don't try to contradict my statements or deny my request. And then she tells that how our father has asked and we chose to marry you. No bhavamiti lajjaya tvam aggrihita namapi asmakam ingitaineva janantar dwara sahasa gyatva ityartha. There is one word used here, bhavam, which means that when the father had asked whom we are going to marry, then they did not take the name directly that we want to marry Kashyapa, but through other people they conveyed, or by some symbol. Tasham duhitrinam madhye tena trayodasanam madhye katham ahameva aputrini iti tvad vaishamyam idam anuchitam iti bhav. So when she says that 13 of us were married to you, what she means by this is that we are 13 sisters and 12 have children from you and I don't have. So why this bias? Why is that you are discriminating like this? This is the meaning. It says that this is not proper to think like this. So then finally she says that athame kuru kalyane kamam kanjavilochanam artop sarpanam bhuman namogham himahiyasi. It says therefore, O Kanjavilochana, that you have such beautiful eyes. So again flattering him, that you have such wonderful eyes, Kanjavilochana, that you please listen to my request and satisfy me, because when someone approaches a great person like you, being distressed, then such a person does not go unfulfilled. It's like if you approach some royal person and ask for something, then if they are generous, then they satisfy your desire. So she is indirectly saying that you are such a holy person, you are such a great sage, and now I am in trouble, and also I am your wife, so it does not behoove you to disregard my my request. You should fulfill my desire. So from various angles, if you analyze her statements, then she is using diplomacy. She is being very diplomatic. And this is how diplomats work. That when they want to gain something, then they will speak in such a way that they convince you that this must be done. What they are asking for, or the decision which they are taking, is most appropriate. It must be fulfilled. So she has put pressure from the father's side. She has spoken in a very humble manner that I am very much disturbed by Cupid. She has also spoken that, look, you are being biased towards me. So nobody likes to hear that he is biased. We like to hear that we are equal to everyone. So he says, we are all sisters, so why this bias towards me? And then she is also glorifying him that you are so great, and it is the nature of great people that if you approach them, especially in the time of trouble, then they help you. Otherwise, what is their greatness? The greatness of a great person is that someone is in need of something, then he helps. So he says, no one goes empty-handed from great people. You approach them for help, and if it is within their means, of course, then they will help. So she's saying that I'm not asking for something which is beyond your reach or which is troublesome to you, and I'm your wife, so this is appropriate. So from different angles, she is convincing him. This is the meaning of all this diplomacy. Now, the husband has a problem. Because husband is a great sage and he is not disturbed in his mind. He is stable and he knows the action and the reaction which comes from a particular action. And he does not want to do anything which will misfire. So he is seeing that this request of his wife is inappropriate because the time is very inappropriate time. But she is completely hung upon it. And there is a saying in Hindi that there are 3 types of people. When they fix their mind on something, then you cannot change. One is a child. It is called balhat. If a child wants a particular toy, then he wants it. He can give better, he will not listen. No, I want only this. And other is women, and third is royal people. Means those who are controller. If they want something, they want something. You cannot argue with them because they have the power. So it is called balhat, triyahat, and rajhat. Hat means obstinacy, basically. That they are so obstinate that once they fix their mind on something, then you cannot change. So he is seeing this, that wife Diti is very much fixed, and he knows that this is a wrong time, so he wants to bide time. He wants to pass time, that let it be delayed. So he starts his diplomacy, which of course fails. Because he is too mild and humble, and wife is very powerful now. She is not going to leave him. So iti tam vira maricha kripanam bahu bhashinim pratyahanuyen vacha pravriddhananga kasmalam. So Vidura, Maitreya, who is describing the story, he is saying that, O Vidura, in this way, the sage Kashyapa, he replied to her who was speaking a lot, because she was non-stop talking. She was not saying 1 or 2 words or this way. She was going on and actually giving a big lecture to convince the sage. And women are very good in convincing. They actually have the gift of speaking and convincing. It is a psychological fact that women can speak better than men. They have found out that in the brain, their things are more connected. When the side which deals with the language, then it is more connected, and they can actually go on talking and relating things. Therefore, women are good in conversation. So, men are not like that. So, she is therefore called here as Bahu Bhashinim, that who was very talkative, garrulous, going on. But Kripanam, but was in a disturbed or what will be the word for Kripna?
Miser.
Not miserly, here it is not miserly, but in a lowly state of mind. So to her, he answered, Pratyaha, and answered in a very humble manner, Anuna, in a requesting manner. Because Kashyapa, he realized that at present it is not possible to speak in an angry mood, because then she may also become very upset. He also has to see that the wife is not disturbed and then creates more disturbance for him. So he was trying to ward her off, but in a very humble and requesting manner. Anunayam Vacha Pravriddha Ananga Kasmalama, who was the wife who was very much under the influence of Cupid. Means her mind was absolutely captivated by the lusty feelings. Kasmala means impurity and Pravriddha means heightened or increased. So there was a great flood of lust in her mind, and he tried to satisfy her with words. Vacha means with speech. That means the sage was not trying to satisfy her with any physical action. He tried to satisfy only with some nice sweet words. So he was not disturbed, he was composed in his mind. This is the meaning of that Vacha Pratyaha Anunayam. Otherwise there is no need to use the word Vacha, because he said he spoke, and of course he spoke means he spoke words. So why this statement is said that he spoke the speech? It signifies that he did not want to take any physical action. He was just verbal and thought that this way he will be able to satisfy or somehow calm her down. So nanu swaramanartham sayam yat samadhi bhange yat manatvam katham mat samshila ityaha artopsarpanam samprati aham arta kim karomi na arta kalam apekshate iti shastram tvam param dayalu janasi evati bhava. So in the previous verse she has said that I am having the same nature as yours, means we are equal. So Kashyapa says that you say that you have the similar nature as mine, but I don't see it, because you are requesting to have union with me and you are disturbing my samadhi, my meditation. If you had the same nature as me, you should sit next to me and meditate. He says, I am meditating and you are breaking my meditation and asking for union, and then you are saying that you have the same character as I have. He says, I don't understand this. And that also you are asking in the evening time, twilight zone, which is a wrong time. Yat samadhi bhangayat mana tvam katham matsila. So then her reply was that arto upsarpanam, that I am distressed. And what is the meaning of distressed or with disturbed mind? It says that when a person is disturbed, then such a person does not think of time, that whether this time or that time. If you are very hungry and you wake up at night, and usually waking up at night is not time to eat. But if you are really very hungry, you wake up at night, then you don't think, well, this is the wrong time to eat. You open the fridge and you eat. So therefore it says that nartaha kalam apekshate, that a person who is disturbed does not think of proper time or improper time. He just does it. and says that you are very merciful and learned, so you know this. So don't ask me this. This is the reply. Hey Veera iti yatha bhavad vidha dharamvira tatha na kashyapa. Now Maitreya is referring to Vidura as a hero. And I explained that there are 4 types of heroes. There is Dharamvir, Dayavir, Danvir and Yuddhavir. So heroes are not only on the battlefield, there are also heroes who follow spiritual principles and they are fixed in that. So he is saying to Vidura, his student, that you are a Dharamvira, you are a hero because you are very much fixed in spiritual principle. And by this he is indicating that Kashyapa is not like that, because Kashyapa will be persuaded by the wife. So this is the significance. Yato anunayaneva pratyahaya natu sakopa kataksham tarjayanati. Why is that? He says the reason for this is that Kashyapa, he replied to his wife in a requesting manner, in a very humble manner, and not with anger, that what nonsense you are doing. I am meditating and you are coming and bothering me. Get out of here. Not harshly or in an angry mood. So this, the commentator says that this was his weakness. And therefore the wife became dominating. यदि कृत्रिममपि कोपम अदर्शिष्यत तदा तस्या काम पीड़ा अपि भीत्या अंतर्धास्यदेव इति भाव. Why is that? He says that even if he has shown artificial anger, not that he has to really become angry, but even if he has shown artificial anger, then the wife would have become scared. And if wife becomes scared, then her mood would have changed. And the whole thing was to change the mood. Because this lust is only in the mind. And if mind can be changed to think of something, then it goes away. If someone is having some very intense thought and he hears some news, some news of accident or some extraordinary thing has happened to some relative, then immediately the mood changes. Then you forget about the object in which you are absorbed. So similarly he says that even if he had shown artificial anger to the wife, then she would have feared him, and out of fear her disturbed mind would have changed. But he did not do that. Pravriddha iti nahi ananga ghunita anunayam sahate iti bhava. So this Pravriddha Ananga Kasmalam, referring to the wife whose mind was very much disturbed by the feelings of lust, this signifies that such a mind does not care for the humble words. They will not have any influence on it. They don't have any effect to change. Means if the husband is speaking very politely and humbly, then no, it's not the right time now, don't do like this. It doesn't change the mind of the wife. This is what he means. So he says, Eshate ham vidhasyami priyam bhiru yadichasi tasya kamana kah kuryat siddhas traivargikiyatah. So Kashyapa is actually being a very nice gentleman. He is speaking in a very nice and sweet words and thinking that maybe she will listen to my request. So he says that Eshate ham vidhasyami. He says, I will definitely fulfill your desire. Don't worry. Priyam bhiru yadichasi. says, I love you. It's not that I don't care for you. Don't think that I am biased against you. And what you desire, I will do that. Tasyaha kamam na kaha kuriyat siddhis traivarga kiyate. And then he is actually glorifying the wife in general. And he says that who would not like to satisfy the desire of one's wife, who fulfills or who helps in fulfilling the three goals of human life, this dharma, artha and kama. There are supposed to be four goals of human life: dharma, kama, dharma, artha, kama and moksha, means religious principles, economic development, sense pleasure and liberation ultimately. So out of this, the first three are fulfilled with the help of wife. If one has a good wife, then one can perform the religious activities, especially the sacrifice, etc., which are prescribed in the Vedas, which are to be performed with the help of wife only. One who is not married cannot do sacrifice. And then economic development. If one has a nice family life, peaceful life, then one can earn money without disturbance. If wife is disturbing, then husband is disturbed and he cannot function properly even in his business or whatever means he has for raising money. And then kama means enjoyment. So he can also enjoy with the wife and children and everybody in a very nice, happy family life. So he says that this dharma, artha and kama, these three goals are achieved with the help of wife only. Therefore, who would not like to satisfy a wife? Who would avoid this? So what Kashyap is saying, that don't think that I am neglecting you, or don't think that you are insignificant. Don't think that I am biased. You are my wife, and because of you only I am successful in my family life, and there is no question of disregarding your request. So in this way the wife was trying to flatter him, now he is flattering back, so that wife says that my husband is saying and I should also listen. So he will continue talking more on the same line, and then tell her that this is not the right time, you just wait. But of course it did not work, and that's how these two demon brothers were born. So that story we will read in the next class. Esateham is the commentary. Ti kashyapasya bahuvāga vilāsa rachana sayakala yapanartham eviti gaya. So all this talk which he is giving, his intention was that somehow let this wrong time pass, this inauspicious time, let it pass and let me just talk to her. And then once this time is gone, then we can unite. So this was his intention, and he is doing it in a manner that wife feels pleased, not that he was getting angry, not that he was trying to criticize her that why are you so jealous, you should not be jealous, nothing like this. He was saying that yes, what you are saying is right, and I will fulfill your desire, but just wait for some time. So I will stop here.
Applying the 5 factors of action to this
Hmm?
incident. When you apply the 5 factors of action mentioned in the Gita to this incident, so the 5th one, daiva or fate or God's will, whatever. Now how do you apply this here? Is it now God's will that this happens, or is it not God's will and therefore the demons were born, or how?
Well,
How does this Daiva aspect come into the picture here?
if you see the whole story, yes, this was God's will.
So then,
Because these two demons were already predestined to come, Jay and Vijay.
so then when a devotee is impelled to do something that may not be, how do you say, devotional or according to scripture or materialistic or whatever, and he cannot, go against it anymore, how is he supposed to deal with this? See, well, Krishna wants me to do this now, or just I can't.
Well, the thing is that